My name is Megan, and I am an educator at HistoryMiami Museum. I am also an archaeologist. Archaeologists study the people and cultures of the past using excavation and artifacts. Artifacts can tell us so much about how people lived and what their lives were really like. I'm here today to share a very special object from our teaching collection with you. Now take a look at the object, and while you look, I want you to start thinking about a couple of things. What is this object made of? What could it have been used for? Who would have used something like this, and why? All right, hopefully you have some ideas about the answers to those questions. So let's take a look. First, let's talk about what it's made of. Looking at the texture and the color, and this part right here, we can tell that this object is made of bone. After we know that it's made of bone, we need to figure out what kind of bone is this made of. Well, these holes right here give us a hint to that. Do those look familiar to you? They should, because you have some in your own body, although we don't see them very often. Those little holes there are actually for teeth. This is a jawbone. Although it doesn't look like your jawbone or like my jawbone. It's much longer. So what kind of animals do we have here in South Florida that have long jaws? If you were thinking alligator, you would be right. Think about it. Alligators have those long snouts, so they must also have very long jawbones. That point is actually what tells us that this jawbone was made and used by people. Tools like this were utilized by the Tequesta, who were the people who lived at the mouth of the Miami River. They were the Native Americans that lived in Miami long before we did. Take a look at the shape and think about how it could have been utilized. Does it look like anything in your own home? This is a cutting tool. That means these edges would have been sharpened in order to use it to cut. It's a knife. So now we know it is a knife. It's a tool, it's a jawbone from an alligator, and it was used by the Tequesta. So there's just one more thing I want to talk about with this object. Do you think this is a real artifact? Now, I work at a museum. We have lots of real artifacts. Why would I be sitting here showing you something that wasn't a real artifact? But I am. This is actually a replica knife. And while the Tequesta used many tools like this, and we even have some in our collection, this one was not used by the Tequesta. So what's the point in having a replica as part of your collection? Well, I can touch it. I can look closely at it. I can pass it around so that students and visitors at the museum can touch it and look closely at it as well. And we can all learn a little bit better about how objects like this one might have been made or used. So this is a knife. It's an alligator jawbone. It's a tool. And it's a replica. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I look forward to seeing you all at the museum again soon.